Yeah, just cover art wise, there aren't many bands that actually did their homework over the years. You know, if you look at discographies now in retrospect, I can name a few that really did their homework, and one of them is Coroner from Switzerland. They always had an image, and then they had this, like what we in German call Banderole, like a black strip down the right hand
Yeah.
side, and it had the Coroner logo with those three skulls, and then whatever the title was. And another band that, oh, this is now a fact actually, Celtic Frost had 4 albums planned in advance where they knew what the artwork was going to be, they knew the song titles, everything was done.
Before they even wrote the fucking
I
music.
think to a degree they weren't even songs done yet, but they sat down because they had limit. I think Tom Warrior explained that they had limitations because of getting musicians and stuff, and it's only when they started getting Reed St. Mark on. Huh?
Oh wow!
Yeah, no, but this is the result of when you they. I think I'm don't quote me on it, but I think it's because they had limitations in getting musicians, and so that him and
So who is Coroner and Real? It's just 2 guys or what? Or 1 guy? Who's Coroner for real? Like,
Coroner are three guys.
okay.
But they're also from Switzerland. This is the coincidence. Celtic Frost, also Switzerland, and
Yeah.
But back to Celtic Frost. Tom Warrior and Tom Gabriel Warrior and the bassist Martin Eric Ain. They sat down and had all this mapped out. They knew they were going to work with H.R. Giger on that album and Hieronymus Bosch on that album. They had that all mapped out. Song titles, album titles, everything, and not necessarily all the music, but that was down to because, from what I heard in interviews with him, they never really had, in the beginning stages, good drummers or a big pool of drummers to draw from, and that's when they got Reed St. Mark from the US. Who played on a lot of the albums later, and apparently now, funnily enough, 5,000 years later, apparently Tom Warrior has reached out to Reed St. Mark to join the fold again, not under Celtic Frost but under Triptychon. So yeah, but interesting. Those are bands that really thought about it, and there's bands like Dream Theater. I think a lot of thought goes into their covers. A lot of them work with people like Hughes Sign.
Yeah, but they're all concept stuff. Were the Celtic Frost albums like very conceptual? Because they did that. You said like the Giga one. So was that all sort of, was the music sort of shaped to suit the vibe, or or not?
I don't know, hen or the egg, but in retrospect, me as a listener, I always felt, even in my school days when I listened to Celtic Frost albums, I felt it fit like a glove. It had a sinisterness, especially the album To Make a Therion. I don't know if you have that in your mind's eye, but that's like.
I know what it looks like. I can't name you a song, bro, but I know the album.
But
I know the album. Yeah.
It's where Jesus becomes a catapult.
Yes.
And this
and
this demon pulls the sort of string, and it just fit like a glove. Same with Into the Pandemonium, Hieronymus Bosch, perfect.
I wonder how much they paid fucking Giga for that, bro.
I like this guy.
I don't think it was.
Have you ever gone to the Giga Museum?
Come again?
Have you ever gone to the Giga Museum?
I don't know where that is. In Genf or Geneva or where?
It's in Switzerland. Yeah, it's
No, I've never.
It's a whole documentary about it's where he lived, and it's all the garden and everything. It's full of statues and shit.
I think don't quote me on it, but I don't know if it's in the museum, but Tom from Celtic Frost does a lot of curation for H.R. Giga now posthumously. They were good friends.
Oh wow!
And there's actually a documentary on YouTube where he hangs out at Giga's place and they talk about the meaning of art, and I watched that for hours. Really cool. But Giga was really unique. What a character! What a character!
I've always said he was Leonardo da Vinci reincarnated, bro.
Yeah, but a very what do you call it? Sort of maligned by society. Really, he doesn't get accepted. Really.
Yeah, of course. But if you seen his line drawings and stuff, like his sketches,
Yeah.
they are very technical. Fuck
Yeah,
me, I mean,
yeah. But Giger, yeah, he's a Da Vinci, you know. But Giger is he's a phenomenon, and it's you know a lot. I think it's because the work is so disturbing. A lot of the more shallow people will never understand it. But I worship his art.
Everything Giger, right?
Yeah.
Every book that was published by him, like fucking.
Oh,
collect them in the UK.
you know the Necronomicon and all those. Oh, but I also watched.
You know, I spent for $500 to some fucking youngsters. Like one day in London, I was like, when I was moving, I was like,
What was this?
all the Giga books that I had.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You did, and then you sold it to, I think it was Judy.
Scott and his chick, Judy's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. I sold. That was fucking awesome books, bro.
I know there was some really. They had some of those at exclusive books, and I never had the money, but killer.
Yeah.
Necronomicon.
Awesome.
I've got a book by Tom Warrior, but that's where a lot of the stuff is in there about Celtic Frost and their relationship with H.R. Giger. But did you see the documentary where he sort of designed the alien with Ridley Scott?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Fuck, that's incredible. And yeah, look, he almost sued the company, because
Yeah.
he wasn't very happy when they distorted these conceptions of
Yes,
what he came up with.
they did,
you know?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they obviously moaned about the fact that a lot of the stuff was not very penis looking. Okay, so the head of the alien and all that sort of stuff. It's, you know.
Yeah. He always.
And they sort of toned it down. Not happy with the shit.
I think Giga had a very.
The whole documentary where he goes on the steps and he was not in a good mood, because when he saw some of the sets, he was like.
Yeah, I know. There was a big. Was it? But it wasn't only Ridley Scott. Wasn't Cameron in there as well?
Yes, Cameron.
Did Cameron do the second one, or I don't know? I can't remember.
No, Ridley Scott did the first two.
Oh, okay. Then
I'm sure.
Then maybe Cameron wasn't.
And
there.
I think I'm trying to think. Did Gig have anything to do with the Predator? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. Well, that being said, then whoever must have borrowed heavily from him.
Mm-mm. I don't think it had anything to do with the Predator. Well, we asked. Did Ezra Geek design the Predator? Let's have a look.
Yeah, he did, because
Okay.
my friend Lee took into Predator, and he said very similar to Geiger's work. I'm sure he had a lot involved there.
Wow.
Must have.
I think they just borrowed heavily. You know, for me, the most amazing scene that he created was that what they call the Navigator.
That is the best.
Alien creature in front of that big telescope.
It's
thing.
so
That is
it's so freaky
haunting, bro.
and mysterious. It's.
And when it starts raining, and then
Did you guys actually follow Alien through to Prometheus and Covenant?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah. You know that Romulus is coming, huh?
No, what Prometheus I liked.
Yeah,
because
I
that
liked
was
it
supposed
too.
to be like the I liked it. I learned I didn't like it. I liked it.
It's the pre-story.
Yeah, it's the pre-story of Alien.
Yeah, and same with Covenant, and now the new one, Romulus. I'm not sure what it deals with. I have no idea, but it's also Ridley Scott.
I didn't even know about that. Is that coming out already? Or is it coming?
It's coming now. It's hitting cinemas. It's probably in the cinemas now this week. But that droid was actually the one that broke away and then started nurturing these creatures and taking them further. And yeah, well, in Covenant at least.
Did I see? I can't remember Covenant that well.
Yeah, played by Mark Fassbender.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, bro. One of my greatest memories in London, they had a place called the Trocadero, which is close to the Circle, you know, Piccadilly. And at that time, they had a whole alien exhibition, like it was like a club. So you paid for a ticket, and then you would kit up like the marine gear, and all the tunnels underneath the building was like, like not sewage tunnels. They were like, with piping and fucking cables and shit. We spotted building, and they had strobe lights in there. And as you run, there's a lot of steam fucking going off and smoke and shit. And then they have strobe lights going, and then you run with these aliens through this with the tunnels.
And then you need that little device. Then you need that little device that goes.
You got fucking aliens popping out, the animatronic and shit. Wow.
Then you need a little tablet that goes that shows you where it is.
It's scary, bro. It was incredibly scary. It's like, you were really there, because it was
I love that.
disorientating.
I love that scene in Alien 2 where they have that device and they actually see, fuck, it's here, it's right here.
Yeah.
And then they look up.
It's like,
And then they look up. Fuck.
Yeah. Yes. Look, that was the fucking evil fucking creature. Yes. And look at that whole idea of planting the egg in the human body. He fucking pioneered that shit there.
Yeah, he had that whole biomechanics thing. But like you said earlier, all his artworks were very sexual. It always has this insemination from machine to human to. It was always very dark, eh? But
I always wanted that they to paint me a dark painting like that. I wanted one called Slut Machine. So it's like a slot machine. You put your coin into a vagina and then
Slut Machine.
And then Slut Machine. But and he only used yellow, grey, black colours. His palette was like 4 or 5 colours of greens, yellows, and like blue tints, of course, to get that fucking incredible. It's all airbrush, most of it. That's so fucking even more incredible.
Yeah. There was a Namibian artist called Koos van Ellenkhuizen, and he used to draw very surreal stuff. Suddenly, like the Namibian desert, but then there's a chasm suddenly opening in front of Spitzkoppe. Like really, always this little touch of, whoa, what is this? And I know my friend Renee and me, Renee knew him well, so he said one day, he said well, let's get a bottle of whiskey and pop over to Koos's place, because he says you're not allowed to visit unless you got to bring a bottle of whiskey. And they would be in his wearing nothing else but like Bermuda jeans, and always having a cigarette in his hand that is like burnt 3/4 off, but the ash would stick there. I used to monitor that. He would walk around and the ash would just hang there, like 3 centimeters. 3 centimeters of ash, and it would not budge. Anyway, and then we would walk through his place and talk, and I would talk to him about Giga, and because he did a tribute that I saw at some point, and I asked him, do you ever recall meeting Giga? And he says, yes. I was in Switzerland and at an art exhibition. And he was there, and I made a point of meeting him, and I actually did an artwork for him as just a thank you, as a sort of tribute, a homage. Yeah. And he said it was a small thing, because obviously in the plane you're not going to take like fucking 2 meters by whatever. And I said, so what did Giga say? And he said and I think the artwork must have been like 30, something like that. I don't know. And for some reason he said, you should try working smaller. Huh? So I was like, okay. So I don't know if he got that correctly. I don't know.
Well, actually, I've never really seen any of his real artwork in real life. I wonder how big they are. I don't think they and some of them
I have no idea. You see some in that docu. I can't recall. But I know that Tom Warrior from Celtic he does a lot of looking after the legacy kind of work.
Yeah. He was also rumored he had ties with old Crowley. And one of his claims to fame in his book was that he had the real head of Satan in his basement. Yeah. I promise you can go read up in his books. He talks about it. He belonged to some occult, like not the Lesser Keys of Solomon. They were like part of the Crowley group. What was that New Dawn, or
He probably, the real head of Saxon was his father or something.
I don't know.
No, Order of the Golden Dawn.
That's it.
That's Crowley.
He was sort of involved in a lot of sex magic sort of shit,
yeah.
and that sort of crap, it's some people because I collected his book, books. They said people went to visit and there would be this awful smell that came up from the basement or whatever.
Yeah.
He's dead now, so they found the fucking real head.
From what I could see on those docus, Giga's place wasn't the tidiest. So.
No, it wasn't. You see his garden. It's every tree. And
he doesn't do anything.
Every tree has been turned into some form of fucking landscape sculpture, like overgrown, but like a dark fucking thing. It's incredible. He also built this railway, like a railway line that with spooktrain type thing.
Yeah.
That to fucking. When he was living in that small town, the kids would come there and they would go on this train, and he would scare the fuck out of them with the shit.
Yeah. But Giga's artwork made it far. I'm thinking of Danzig. How the Gods Kill Danzig. And I remember Giga apparently was not happy with Glenn Danzig because he never got credits and all that shit. Then he did artwork for Blondie. Was it that Blondie artwork cover where those spears are going through her mouth from cheek to out the other?
She's dressed in leather or something.
It's just a mugshot, and there's three like spikes going through her mouth from one side to the other.
Wow.
Then he did, I think, Electric ELP or Emerson, Lake and Palmer, yeah. So a lot of stuff.
Imagine owning that as a cover, bro, like the original.
An original Giga, man. Yeah.
But his family, I saw when he died, there was a documentary about his life. I found it somewhere on YouTube a long time ago.
Yeah, but
a documentary.
But nothing proper has been done, I think. Nothing beautifully designed and like really.
Yeah, now. I mean, you still got the Tokyo Bar and all that sort of stuff. In Japan, they still got there's one in London too, and one in Germany, I think. Yeah, but those are more architecture shit, like the seats, the chairs.
Yeah.
He designed the bar counter. Physical art. What do you call it? Installation art. What do you want to call it? But you can use it.
But I mean now a proper documentary on him, like properly designed.
He downloaded a long time ago. I saw it in the UK. It's a few months after he died. They made a really fucking amazing documentary. It was like an hour and a half long, about a year or something like that. It's got some dark name. I can't remember. I'll dig it up. I've got it somewhere still. It's like it really delved into like his whole life, just before he died and after his death. The sons and everything were going through the place and finding like lost pieces of art. You know what I mean? That these sort of unfinished stuff. I mean, it must be worth a fucking bucket. Some of, especially those unfinished pieces, they would finish. They can worth more.
I was so hoping many years back. I was standing in line at the hotel, trying to sign in and ready for the festival and stuff because Triptychon was playing, and then I had Tom Warrior actually right behind me, but he had his press person with him, and I didn't want to bother him, and I was hoping to see him that evening at the pub, and lo and behold, he's there in the pub, but he's talking to the German the metal press, like Metal Hammer, and they were all over him, and so
how old is dude? He's 60s, 70s.
Yeah, he's in his 60s. Yeah. But I would love to talk to the guy because he's very deep and he's not some shallow fucker. He's just like really. Watch every interview with him. He's like
a fuck, I guess.
No, yeah, but he also makes what I love about him is he very often in interviews he just says like, listen, I'm just lucky. I'm not a good guitar player. I just invented my own style. We had to, as a band, just do whatever, we just wanted to do something, and we're lucky. and he just his blatant honesty is and he's very straightforward about that. It's just he doesn't like allures. He doesn't like.
It's quite an interesting topic. Most of the Swiss bands, even the few punk bands that came from Switzerland in those days, they're all very dark. You know what I mean? It's like their psyche. I wonder what's it about. Maybe all the fucking mountains and being so remote.
I don't know what it is, because Switzerland, I mean, it's actually, you think of it and it's quite cheerful, and, they've got a great system, and it's a well-run country, but there are indeed a lot of dark bands coming out of that country, or really, like Coroner as well. I mean, Coroner.
And they don't try to be dark like the Norwegian bands and things like that. They just naturally dark, which I dig. It's like they...
Yeah, look...
They don't fucking try.
I tell you, in my mind, Celtic Frost is darker than 90% of what comes out of Norway. It's just because Celtic is just ugh. Yeah, they just did their homework, Yeah.
So, what is the darkest band you've ever heard in your life, apart from a Pro Master?
I don't know. It depends
on.
I think it depends on what you call dark. I think I find a lot of music can be dark, and it doesn't need to be harsh.
I hope you're recording now, you fuck.
I'm recording, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm interviewing you now. I'm on the swing. I've got the topic now.
There's an album, you might not agree, but for me, one of the most dark albums, and it's not because it's about praise Satan and all that kind of shit, just because it's emotionally dark. It deals with dark topics, but in a very... I think as a listener, if you're very shallow, you can be fooled. And I actually recall...
Are you going to say Depeche Mode now?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the darkest albums I know is Songs of Faith and Devotion by Depeche Mode. And I remember, I clearly remember in SA there was a DJ actually announcing in it, and that explained the naivety and the shallowness perfectly. Yeah. And this DJ actually announced something said, well, looks like Depeche Mode have gone Christian and la. Just because the album is called Songs of Faith and Devotion. But then there are lyrics like, if you were walking in my shoes, you'd stumble in my footsteps, Not
my favorite song, but the lyrics of the song, there's flies on the windscreen, that one, fuck me, man.
That's from Black Celebration.
Yeah, just think of that. There are flies on the windscreen. I mean, that's who would come up with something like that? It's like fucking, it's like dismal. It's like
but just listen to a song.
I remember when I went to the army in '84. I had one of those first Walkmans. That's the only thing that existed in those days, tape Walkmans, and I had 3 albums I took with me. One was Depeche Mode. One was Yazoo, Upstairs at Eric's. And then I had Planet P. I don't know if you know the Planet P, that project, Planet P project. Fucking amazing guitar. It was well-known guys in that band. But I remember my lieutenant, Chris Snell, he came in, he said, I want to hear what you're listening to. And he said to me, he said, you're going to be committing suicide in the next year or two, because this is fucking...
That's a typical remark.
Crystal.
Seriously?
Look at Depeche Mode is dark, bro. Fuck me.
It is.
I mean, Stripped.
Stripped is dark. But you know what I'm getting at? It's like, for me, dark isn't automatically like... Obviously, the first Deicide album is like, there's something really... about it, I worship that. I love that album.
There's something underlying there that's better, that underneath all the songs and underneath the cover art, there's something. In those first albums, there was something sort of ominous about it. But yeah, for sure. But
it's more raw and really more sort of Neanderthal. The thing is, Mode brings it across way differently, and it's I think they started with Black Celebration or Blasphemous Rumors, where they said and that. What makes it so dark, it comes as a pop song. I think that God's got a sixth sense of humor, and when I die, I expect to find him laughing. That's... to me, that is just more... And it's also...
I would still say it's my favorite Depeche Mode song, because especially the way that song started and how they made those sounds with the metal banging,
Yeah, and that whole girl of 16, whole life ahead of her, slashed her wrist, lonely one, didn't succeed. Thank the Lord for His own mercy. Yeah, but I mean, dark. What is dark? I guess let's get back to metal. There are some Bathory early stuff that I find really dark. I mean, a song like "Woman of Dark Desires" from.
Yes, I know that track.
Woman of Dark. And that's like, yes, there's something like about it. It's haunting. There are some old. Believe it or not, Venom being as tongue-in-cheek as they were, but there are some songs that I still find sound unholy, like 1,000 Days in Sodom, and it's the delay on the vocals. It's.
I've got a memory of that. I remember when I was with the Blommies. I was new to metal. I mean, the first metal band I heard was when Dick introduced me to Metallica. Cliff Burton on the stage. Blah, blah. I was like, okay, this is metal. This is quite interesting. And then I obviously would visit the Blommies, things like that, and they had a video, Seven Gates of Hell or something from Venom.
The Seven Dates of Hell.
Yeah. And look, I found it comical in one way. At the same time, I could feel that this was my first experience of this satanic, supposedly satanic, dark fucking music. I was like, whoa. Okay, there was something like that. I was like, geez, okay. Not that I went to go buy any Venom albums after that or buy any of the songs.
Yeah, but they had something.
It was dark.
Some songs, then there were those other tracks like Teacher's Pet and stuff where you go, oh God, that's just like silly. But I would say Bathory is probably one of the bands that would hit me in their early albums. What else is dark? I mean, but how do you define dark? I think...
one of the songs I don't even know the name of the song. The first black metal dark song that left the impression on me was that... I don't even know who's saying it. A, B, and I don't know which album with the name of the song is that. Into the Abyss for. We mentioned it.
Soulside Journey, Dark Throne.
And I was like, whoa, bro, this is like big. Yeah,
you're right. That album has a very oppressing mood, eh? Very dark. Yeah.
But dark can also mean, like you say, gothic.
Yeah, for me, for instance, it's Nephilim, and for me, it's also like the early Anathema stuff, the really heavy, dirge kind of stuff. It's so sinister.
The early Paradise Lost, the early My Dying Brides. I mean, that's almost depressing dark that it's so dark you want to commit suicide. It's so boring that you want to commit suicide. It's fucking dark.
There are some songs by Anathema, especially on the album Alternative 4. If you want to commit suicide, well, there you go. That's the perfect soundtrack for it. But then I also felt some Danzig songs were super dark, and what made them dark was that it's not balls to the wall fast. It's almost southern bluesy, but the way it's played, fuck.
Yes, it's the cult gone wrong.
Yes, but have you heard that song Until You Call on the Dark? Oh.
No.
It's that until you call on the dark. Oh.
Was it Mother? I think Mother is the one that was always played on fucking TV all the time.
Yeah,
Not TV, but on.
But compared to that just mentioned song, Mother is almost like cheerful. It's.
But you know what I did? What I did do is I bought a Danzig album when I was in the UK, which is a purely instrumental thing that he did. It's called Black Araya or Black something. No vocal.
Black Area.
And no guitars. That's it. It's almost like a soundscape sort of thing that you would find in a game like Doom or something.
Yeah.
It's just like an orchestral fucking arrangement by Danzig. He played all the keyboards and that was fucking dark. That was darker than what he said.
Yeah, look, for me, I think what added the darkness in that band was the guitarist John Christ, and he's a phenomenon. Since the last Danzig album he played on, you've never heard of him again. He just vanished. He's gone. nobody knows what he's doing. Well, I don't know, but he was. I mean, how he handled that guitar was always found the right chords, that dark, sinister mood, and amazing.
Yeah, it's weird.
But try that song out until you call on the dark, and it just it's and Glenn Danzig's sort of like spoken word lyric. You know, it's creepy.
And he had a great point.
I dig Danzig stuff. I lost interest over the last few albums when John Christ wasn't involved anymore, but apparently Tommy Victor from Prong is now playing with him a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Or he has been for a while. I don't know.
All I remember from Danzig, in my mind, my impression of Danzig is that I liked two or three of the songs, but he was like a weird-looking dude, bro. He fucking looks odd. His hairstyle and everything is like a fucking weird-looking guy. Like,
really retro. Yeah. Really
you know,
retro.
in punk, we never had dark music. Danny, I was trying to think when you were talking, we're talking about metal and dark. It's obviously a lot of dark shit in metal, but I was trying to think of like D-Beat and crust punk and which bands. I mean, yeah, we didn't have many dark bands in punk. I mean, there was, you would think like KOZ or something would be from Germany, would be dark. They had some dark bands. But the band I think that definitely comes to mind would be what's the fucking band called now? Rudimentary Peni.
Your Rudimentary Peni, yeah.
Have you ever seen their album covers, bro?
Yeah.
It's pencil drawings. Fucking the artist who did that stuff was fucking incredible art. And they had some songs like Martian Church, and their songs were very short, like but very dark. Okay, and then the other band definitely that portrayed depression and darkness very well was fucking my favorite of all time, Joy Division.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, yeah, undisputable. I mean,
he was so depressing he committed suicide, you know. So, like Lil Peep and all these other people, whatever. But I mean,
but to get back to the artwork, who else do you think had a firm command of, you know, like some bands, you get the feeling like the artwork is just sort of gets handled by, you know, like almost like Spinal Tap. Smell the glove. Here's your artwork. You know, like, you know. But who else do you feel had a firm command? Who had an unmistakable style, and where you always think, man, this band has it under control. You know, like they know what they want.
Ball thrower.
Yeah.
I would say ball thrower. I mean, was it Dan Seagrave who did all the art for those bands?
Never for Ball Thrower. Ball Thrower had that.
But he did some.
No,
very sort of anime type art, like.
Yeah, Ball Thrower had that in the beginning.
scenes.
I don't know. Ball Thrower in the beginning had that sort of Warcraft kind of gaming art, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Warcraft's definitely the word to use.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I always thought most of the 80s covers for most of the 80s thrash bands were kind of fucking stupid. I mean, if I think the stupidest band cover, bands like Anthrax, some of their covers was like fucking dumb. You know, like, sorry to say, but they're just stupid. You know, like there's no dark about those covers at all. Or Slayer, Slayer definitely for sure. I mean, they was very.
I was about to say Slayer up to a point they had, you know, like up until I think up until Seasons in the Abyss they really had their shit together. Then came Divine Intervention, which had a Wes Benscoter artwork, which drifted off a little bit, but was still dark. Then they did a few weird steps. Then they got on Skeletal Christ or whatever that Christ Illusion. They went back to Harry Carroll was actually the artist that painted South of Heaven and Rain and Blood. He died a couple.
Is that the dude who actually used? I watched a documentary on YouTube the other day about this guy who paints metal covers. He uses real blood to paint the actual painting.
I wouldn't know. No, I don't think so.
He painted
And
Slayer too. He did some for Slayer. He did, but he uses the real blood. He mixes it into the oils.
okay, I have no idea.
I'll find the video.
But anyway, Larry Carroll
Great.
died a couple of years ago, and then the last cover he did for them was Christ Illusion. And then Slayer just went off
Okay.
on a tangent, and they had different shit, and I just thought. Then they also lost the plot, in my opinion.
I'd say.
But you know what I mean? I think it's very strong. I always view. I mean, I know this is probably marketing speak, but as a band, I think it's important. I hate bands where the logo is different on every album. That just turns me off immediately. It's kind of and.
Yeah, but I've known you long enough that I know that you are very particular about shit like that.
Yeah, but I mean, you'll find a lot of metalheads that will agree, you know, and I think it's like marketing, you know. Does Coca-Cola change every can? No, you know, and it's like I want to. If I buy a Testament record, I don't want Helvetica, you know, like no, I don't want that. You know, it's just. That bugs me immensely. I know I'm a graphic artist, but it bugs me immensely, and I know many fans that would hate that. I had a talk with God, who was it? Oh, who was it? Fuck. Bring back the logo. Hello, are you there? Oh.
Yeah, I heard you mentioning this. Who was it? It was the last one you did, not with.
You're suddenly very silent. I can barely hear you.
Really?
Yeah.
What's going on? Can you hear me now?
Still soft, but I'll try and push it. Yeah.
I pushed my headphones because there's a lot of background sound happening.
No, I wasn't hearing anything. You can leave it on.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're not going to register on the. No, but I said.
It was the interview you did before the last one you did now with Cemetery Skyline. That guy. You talked about
Juan Garcia. No. It was
You
someone
talked
else.
about
Was it?
bringing back the old logo.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Venom, Demolition Man, and they also have that.
Yes.
It's like kind of.
The happy chappy.
You know, you don't have a logo for nothing. You know, it's there. You know, use it. You know?
Okay, but what happens if you start like did it, right? So I mean, I used to do hand. There was no computers to do logos, so I had to. And I'm not an artist, so I had to like draw letters and make it look fucking weird, you know. And obviously, all the bands in those days tried to look like somewhere like Metallica, you know, with the little fucking spikes off the edge of the last letter, you know. And then some of the logos when I did after that, they became more sort of not black metal, like like squiggly, they're all like fucked up letters.
Yeah, they also.
And they called it a weird logo. But what happens if you've got a logo in a band that you've been in this band for 10 years, and you're an artist, okay? So imagine you join Venom tomorrow, and now you become an integral part of Venom, and they know you fucking great at art, but secretly you've hated their fucking logo always. Okay, not as a bad example, but so what are you going to change it?
I'll polish it, but I'll never fuck with it. No, sorry, that's corporate ID. You don't fuck with it. I'm a firm believer. You don't fuck with your logo. You don't fuck with your brand. No.
Yeah,
I don't like it. I hate it. I hate it. And ironically,
Manowar was fucking big, fucking 8 men on the covers with their fucking swords raised high, and that.
Yeah, I've looked at the cover art. That's a different story. But I dig the Manowar logo. I think it's great. I love the type. Awesome.
I've always like. I mean, the black metal bands for me, that's a fucking enigma. You got heavily into this cuck. I remember you used to draw thousands of logos.
Yeah, but I appreciate the old. One of my favorite logos of all time is the Judas Priest logo. I love it. I think it's so iconic. It's you know that those little the lines and that it's all slanted and it's just I love it. I fucking dig it. I love it.
Remember the 80s or the early 90s or the 90s when computers, setting logos of computers became sort of for everybody. Everybody did 3D bevel.
Horrible.
Text.
Well, the 90s is probably the era where artwork and logos just went for a ball of shit. But I think it's largely because of the grunge era. I think in grunge it was sort of an insignia. If you had a horrible artwork, you were grunge. You know, like you had to have a shit artwork. You know, just a 3-legged dog in the driveway. That's your album cover, and the type would be just Times Roman slanted with a horrible color. And then, well, this is now the anti statement to 80s metal. You know, like. No, I despise 80s, 90s stuff. I fucking hate it. I hate them all. They are albums. No, there are albums I wouldn't buy just because of the shitty artwork. And I'm as purist as... And most of the time, when the artwork's shit, the album's probably also shit. You know, it's like... Most of the time. A lot of the times, actually.
I had this band from... I think it was like a bootleg label. Francois used to hate. I had 2 of the albums, a band called Tyrant.
German band? Yeah.
German band. It was released on this weird label. I'm not sure if it's actually the original.
Metal Enterprises, but we talked about that a while back, yeah.
Yeah. I remember their artwork sucked, bro. But the album was good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was just... Not everything was good in the 80s. I'll definitely say that. But it's just... I just found the 90s, it was like... you know, the more slapped together, the better. You know, it's kind of... I just hated it.
I think it was always a big thing for me, an album cover. Like, because we grew up, I guess, sitting with an album cover in front of you, and if it's a gatefold, even better, you know, like studying every piece of that thing. But I think, like, also in the 80s and 90s, that sort of, I mean, especially I'm talking about saying just the metal scene, especially when this whole grindcore, like Cannibal Corpse type shit came along. I know people are impressed with it, I understand, but for me, it was just like, everybody's just trying to be as sick as fucking possible.
Yeah, no, it's getting ridiculous.
Body covers, pasted together. And
it's getting ridiculous. I mean, dude,
it's stupid.
Dude, the stuff I see on a daily basis, it's just kind of, it gets more ridiculous by the day. And it's kind of, the shock value is gone. It's just, come on, man.
That's all. It's not even scary. Or
it's just laughable. Like it's like kind of, and then you listen to the music. It's just kind of like.
I remember in the early 90s there was a website that it was like it became like probably one of the biggest websites at that time. This way before the days of Google and all these fucking
Faces of Death.
Things it was something about where people just posted photos of dead bodies or people who died in car crashes or shit.
Faces of Death, yeah.
Or something like that. I mean, that's like the fascination that people went to go and look at this cut. I guess it's the first time they could actually go to see that shit. Maybe, yeah.
Dude, when we played in when we played in Czech, the demos I saw, I hosed myself. It's just Paul and me were just going. We were laughing because there used to be these tables with all the merch and all these bands had their little tapes and there was one was more hilarious than the other, and it's everybody was trying to emulate Carcass and outdo Carcass, you know, and you know Carcass.
Yeah, started. I guess they were the forerunners of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What do you call that? Not music. I'm talking about the arts.
Art.
Vibe. What do you call it?
Yeah. They started it.
Death Grind.
No, they started it with the album Symphonies of Sickness, with that collage, that weird, just guts and gore collage. But then everybody jumps on the bandwagon, and it's like, But I mean, it's the same thing.
Coming back to Giga, they used Giga in one of their covers, with that peace sign with the skeletons.
That's Giga, yeah.
Yeah, that's Giga.
That's Giga. Yeah, correct. Heartwork.
Yes.
Great album.
It's like almost like a clock in a way, like a peace sign with skeletons or some shit. I can't remember what it would look like.
But it's interesting how the trends maneuver, And in the 80s, it was all about often photography. I mean, some bands would just it's always like members on the cover, and then but some bands would actually make an effort and try and do something photographic that it's conceptual.
Yeah.
But interesting.
I think from an art point of view, in that respect, I think the band that definitely excelled at that was that Penny Rimbold character from Crass. I mean, they released like the Feeding of the 5,000 or whatever albums, that box sets they used to do with whole booklets inside.
Yeah.
And they used that typical, what I love in the old punk cut and paste sort of thing.
Yes.
But beautifully done, like with Maggie Thatcher, with some fucking pork sausages coming out of the ass, and there's like millions of characters in this
Exactly.
big poster that you've got.
Those sort of
Beautifully done,
Those sort of search images.
Art,
I think I love some early Napalm stuff as well. That sort of collage, political. Just
I can't think of any name.
give me 5 seconds. Decent. I mean, and Utopia Banished.
Scum was the fuck.
Scum was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking. But I was just checking while you like their logo, like they quite a while till when they started sort of getting English right at the end, they started like fear, purpose, despair. That's when I got.
But I think also Metallica had a good run with Ride the Lightning and then Master of Puppets, and I suppose Justice for All as well. And then and then that also faded. It just sort of, I don't know. Then there was the Dan Seagrave craze, which everybody jumped onto, from Malevolent Creation to Entomb to, the first.
He must have made a fortune.
Yeah, he must have made a fortune. The first Morbid Angel. Man, so many bands had Dan Seagrave covers. It was Gorguts, all those Roadrunner bands. It was almost like he was the house designer. He was the house designer.
I think the band in my mind that's got the most recognizable logo or brand in the world would probably be Misfits. I mean, I have seen so many kids wearing that T-shirt, they actually don't know what it means. It's just like the image of it. You know? That whole fucking logo of Misfit.
I think also Ramones, because you'll find all these hip chickies that wouldn't know Ramones from a bar of soap.
Yeah.
They wouldn't know Ramones from Shit or Shinola, and they wear it.
Crass has definitely got the most.
That's a very distinct logo. Dead Kennedys.
Sure. And how simple is that, bro? It's just.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I marvel at that logo. Is so beautiful. It's just simple from a graphic point of view. I love it.
I mean, you could be walking in, if you saw that in the glimpse of it in the corner of your eye, you know exactly.
Yeah.
What that means, And Black Flag, that dude from Black Flag. That's just 4 black bars.
The 4 bars, yeah. Also classic.
Yeah, I mean, that is like unmistakably, like you just know immediately that's Black Flag.
Yeah,
they've got that tattoo on their arm, exactly.
Same with Exploited, always the Mohican, and that's also quite an image thing.
That's future. That's how what he's going to look in a few years from now. So he's going to be in his gravestone because he's going to look like that in a few years. Shane, I actually watched him the other night. He had something like 5 to 7 most of them on stage.
Yeah.
And then he gets out of hospital and he's straight back up on the stage.
It's crazy.
It's crazy like that.
Insane.
What
else? I mean, look, I love the Slayer logo. I just love the top rock, but I love the old style of how it was with the eagle and the wooden wheel, and there's something about it. I mean, and Slayer always flirted with Third Reich sort of imagery.
Yeah, for sure.
That worked.
a lot of people saying to me, "This is very Nazi." I said, "No, man, it's a song about the Nazis or whatever. It's not that they're saying they fucking Nazis."
Yeah, of course, man.
They're fucking people.
It was a huge discussion here in Germany with this oversensitive press here. It's like everything needs to be debated to death, and it was. I knew as a teenager that they weren't fucking glorifying this shit. They were like using it as a dark thematic, almost like a movie, you know.
Yeah,
and it's the same. It's it's the same with Cannibal Corpse, and like, why does it get? You know, somebody brings out a movie like Evil Dead, nobody asks questions, you know. But as soon as you do music about gore and demons and zombies and flesh eating and shit, then suddenly it's a problem. You know, I don't get it.
I think the only band that pulls off gore in my mind fully was Guara. I mean, they pulled off gore proper. They used to piss on people then.
Guara.
Guara, yeah. No. What a crazy band.
Weird shit.
They were fucking awesome. Yo, I mean, how many of those bands took that to a little bit? Guara, I don't think they were the first people. Alice Cooper, I guess, was the first person to sort of do that old stage personification of a different person.
Shock
King
rock.
Diamond, obviously.
Shock rock.
Yeah, then Guara came along, and now it's become so proliferant. I mean, how many of these new gen bands, they're all wearing masks. And
yeah.
It's become so fucking... It's become such a huge thing now in supposed metal today. It's like every's got some sort of like... From black metal to gent.
It's ridiculous.
Like the whole fucking...
I think it's lost.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It's lost its plot. And, but what I do find missing in the scene nowadays is, you know, when I got into the scene, into metal, there were bad guys. You know, there was Ozzy, and believe you me, when I saw listen, we in the beginning we didn't have metal mags. There was only this German pop magazine where they dedicated like a double page to metal, and whenever I saw Ozzy Osbourne, I was like, oh my god, who is this fucking dude?
Yeah,
because he looked like a fucking insane man, and.
What?
And then little descriptions of him biting bats and shit. I was just like, okay, I've got to hear this, man.
Yeah.
Fuck. And I was an Aussie fan immediately, and so on and so on. And then you had these even pictures of Motley Crue. They looked like even worse, or like scarier. And but that got me into it. And then you had Blackie Lawless, Wasp. There was a threatening aspect of musicians in those days.
Yeah.
Even Slayer, not even Slayer, but Slayer. The first photos, before I even heard them, I saw pictures of Kerry King wearing a spike band. And I was just like, mother... Yes, I was just like, who the fuck is this? And when I first heard Rain and Blood...
I wonder how many cuts he got in his fucking body from playing that thing on.
Just that thing. And when I first... And when somebody slipped me a bad copied version of Rain and Blood, I tell you what... That thing never left my player. I was just like, I couldn't believe how an album could be so fast and so brutal. I couldn't believe it.
Look, I'll be sincere. I heard Metallica and all that. I thought, I was arrogant. I wanted the thing so much better than we doing. They got a bigger following and blah, blah, blah. But in South Africa at that time, we were like doing thrash metal or fucking crossover or thrash metal or whatever. But I must admit, when I heard Slayer the first time, I was like, okay, this is a different ballgame.
Yeah.
You know.
But I
sort of shut my mouth and I just went to listen to it. I was like, wow, this is...
But I know why. Because Slayer always had their punk influence. I mean, listen...
Yeah, but it's just the intensity of the music. It was so intense.
Yeah, but listen to Rain and Blood. It's the punk recipe. Fast, in your face, and out. You know? That's it.
Yeah, and prior to that, obviously SOD or Stormtroopers of Death, which we punks believed was a punk band, but we didn't really know. It was all of that time. So we classified that as a punk band, but yeah, it was actually a metal band, I guess. But Yeah, then I got into Anthrax. And what I liked about Anthrax was I hated the image, I hated the vocal style, I hated the artwork.
But the riffing.
But I loved the riffing was incredible. Jesus Christ.
That's the thing with...
I put in a mosh. Even in my fucking... Something attic would call in the mosh on, I'll fucking be in there.
I always loved... I worship... I think Scott Ian now in retrospect, it's actually wrong. I think most of those riffs were written by Charlie Benante, actually, on the drummer.
You said so.
But
I'm actually quite shocked by that.
I was shocked by that as well. But Scott is the guy that plays it, and he has a certain... I mean, you heard that when I talked to Juan Garcia. He said, like, well, it's also... It's not the amp, it's also Scott's style. You know, it's like the heavy chunking.
Yeah.
But that influenced me heavily.
One of the best rhythm players in the fucking world to this day.
I always wanted that sound. I loved that Anthrax sound, and sadly they've lost that sound. They've gone for a very, very mainstream sort of. I don't know what happened.
But surely they must have just used straightforward Marshalls in those days, and
no.
No.
Listen to what Juan Garcia says on that interview. He says, like, we all had our amps fucking modified. They were all modified. And same with Scott and Dan Spitz. They had their stuff modified, their rigs, and but they used.
Dan Spitz was that shorty guy.
He was the shorty guy.
Guitar with,
the classic lineup.
He was funny.
Yeah, he was at the Ninja Turtle. He had the Ninja Turtles, Randy Rhoads.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, man! I love those guitars.
You should have played with Deer. They could have stayed at the same level.
Yeah. But there is a pedal that I actually had it here. I had it here at home, and I tested it, and I could actually hear the sound. I could picture it, because man, it had a really mundane name, something Industries, blah 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 Industries, and those pedals.
Not Zoom, not that Zoom fucking thing.
No, just not these modern pedals like grunge pedal, death metal pedal. No, like something Musical Industries Incorporated, something boring, and that's what Scott Ian and them used. Those pedals is what they used. And I had this pedal only for a short while because I had to give it back to Tristan's friend, and I tested it on my Marshall, and I could hear that old Anthrax sound from Spreading the Disease. It had that same crunch, it was there. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose to get that crunch, you would have had to use things like gates and all that crap.
Yeah, but also
we didn't know.
This is another thing.
He only had one pedal.
This is also where Juan Garcia mirrored my opinion, and it's true. It's how you layer it. If you have a good rhythm guitarist, he'll layer it 4 times, and it's fat. I mean, I think the guitars on an album like Master of Puppets got layered at least 4 times. I think it's too fat. No amp will deliver that sound. No way. And if you look at guys like the guy from Heathen, I think on that album he probably and they I think they probably layered it a couple of times, and then they still did accents, like just to make it more punchy. Yeah. Tricks of the trade.
Well, I can honestly say I listen to 100 times more Heathen than I listen to Metallica.
Yeah, Heathen. Oh my God, what a legendary band. Unfortunately,
I even tolerate the vocals, just because the music was so fucking incredible.
For me, Heathen, it's the first 2 albums. The rest I can't really handle. It's the first 2 albums. That's it.
Breaking the Silence. So what was the other one?
Victims of Deception.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
What a killer album. I mean, crunchy guitars. It's a wall of sound. Amazing. I mean, the bass doesn't play a role in that. The bass just doesn't feature.
Yeah, I guess. Well, that's true. But only in my late life, I've started understanding what the bass guitar really brings to something. But I always had a firm belief that you could play gigs or fucking write songs without, or release songs without any bass in it. You could just, yeah.
Yeah, but you could hear. I mean, it's sometimes
the punctuation of the rhythm thing.
I mean, sometimes you will send me stuff where it's like the sort of a repetitive thing, and the bass will change it phenomenally just by changing the root note, and that's where it gets interesting. No, I've started valuing the bass a long time ago.
I think I've secretly always wanted to have a bass and play with it. I'm such a cup guitarist. I might have made it. Well, I shouldn't say bass guitarists are shit because they're not. But I think I would have probably played bass better than I would have played guitar. It's because it's just one. It's the root note thing, and you can play chords with it and all that. But it's that driving rhythm. And I that's what I listen to in music most. Is I don't listen to lead guitars and.
No, but
I listen to the rhythm.
I disagree because you compose such good stuff on guitar, and you need to think differently as a bassist. You know, you can't just bassists that just copy the guitars. There's no point in that. You know, as a bassist, you need to sort of fill the holes, the pockets, and try and create a different mood underneath. And I think the big sort of where you need to stretch out is, and at the same time, it's one thing just going, okay, I'm going to do different notes under the guitar, but it's also listening to the bass drum. You know, are you just going to go
accenting?
Yeah, but if the bass drum does like are you just going to go bung 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 really idiotically over it, or are you going to go
what was that? Old band we had in South Africa with glue that holds the coup, or the coup that holds the glue.
It's the glue, musical glue.
Yeah, it is. And I learned that quite late. Is that that's what I was saying when but you don't need a bass guitar. I said no, you do, because it takes you playing basically what the guitar guy is playing in notation or in scales or notation or right. But you're also playing with the drum. So you've got to be listening to the guitarist and the drummer.
Exactly.
Because you are trying to fill that gap between those instruments.
Now, if the basic guitar riff is da-na-na-na-na-na, you're not just going to go do-do-do-do-do underneath. You look at the guitarist and the bass drum, and the snare for that matter. I mean, it's flexible. You can go do-do, 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 do-do. And that's where the punch comes from. You know, like if that bass hits exactly on that kick drum, man, that's killer. You know?
But bass guitar is actually quite intelligent. Is that what you're saying?
Well, what I'm saying, I guess, is it's not as stupid and duh as it always gets proclaimed to be.
They've already got big guitars than we've got. Okay, and thicker strings. I mean, you want to give them that too. They're more intelligent. Is that what you're saying?
I think bassists, there's more to bassists than legend would have it.
I think there's more to fucking drummers.
That also, I mean, but I never disputed drummers for starters. So
I mean, it's the most physical fucking job in the band.
It's fucking heavy. I mean,
I said, how the fuck does that guy maintain that? The guy from Exploited. One of the gigs they played last year or something, I watched the whole concert. I mean, that guy is fucking, he's not small. And he's probably in his late 58, 60, around there.
Yeah.
And not one of the Exploited songs lends itself to, there's no rest. It's balls to the wall, DB, fucking all the way through. I mean, my God.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I took Tristan to a Nile concert, and we watched George Collier's from the side stage, so we could see his feet, we could see everything. And I mean, this is blast beats most of the time, and this guy doesn't break a sweat. It's what Gene Hoglan from ex Dark Angel, Strapping Young Lad, Death. He played with most of the bands, and he said like, no, it's economy of energy. You need to get a style down where you don't use your body to play. You use your wrists, and you use just your ankles, and it's just. You shake it out. It's not.
I can't compare with that because
no, dude. If I was to sit, I sat behind a kid here. I sat behind a kid here at my neighbor's place. He's in his dungeon, in his cellar. You could probably do a Pink Floyd concert there. He's got enough gear. There's mixing discs. There's keyboards.
You're trying to get me to come visit. Man.
Apparently, there's like 3, 4, 5, 6 amps. And, but those guys can't get a song down to save their lives. But I sat down there one night on my own. I said, listen, Frank, can I just go in there? I just want to practice something on a kit and see if I can do it. And I tried it. Man, but I tackle a kit with full physique. And I just go, and it tires me. But the thing is, if you don't know the technique, you're going to be, after one song, you're going to be dead. You're not, because you don't know how.
Yeah,
and
no, I agree.
And it's
I can respect that.
The thing is, but it also it's also gear. If your pedals are right and everything, you just it's really minimal. You need to get it to a point where it's minimal effort, so you can get through a show. I mean, another band I watched, Marduk, that black metal, it's phenomenal. How does a drummer like that play 1.5 hours, almost at full speed all the time?
Yeah, look, I've got enough trouble just coordinating 6 strings, or mostly 6 strings, and my left hand and my right hand just to
but that's
work together.
No, but
all these guys.
But now you're talking guitarist. Now you're talking guitarist. I was standing in front of Morgan, the guitarist, and I was watching him play all those Panzer Division Marduk songs from that album, and it seems effortless. His hands, I would cramp up. I would just go, ooh, and he just shakes it out. It's like a really minimal. It seems like he's doing minimal movement. It's amazing. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't agree with that. I'm a guitarist, so we speak from a guitarist point of view. I've never agreed with that. If you're not playing hard, then you're not fucking playing it. Look, I come from a funk school.
No, don't get me wrong. He's playing hard, but he's not overexerting himself. He's not like playing with his entire arm. It's just that wrist, and he's just got It's economy.
We can argue about this one, Johannes, because
no,
I've never agreed.
Trust me.
I cannot do a song like Goodbye without cheating by going up down strokes, or up and down strokes together. Then I should be playing the song.
Yeah, but that's a different story. Nobody's going to play, except some crazy virtuoso like Alan or wannabe virtuoso like Alan from Bothers will play that in tremolo picking. Goodbye. I would.
I'm sorry, I played things like Goodbye. They're all downstrokes.
That's downstroke.
I don't do any upstrokes. Never. I never do upstrokes.
Yeah,
never do double.
Dude, but I'm talking black.
I don't do that.
But I'm talking black metal here. You can't play that with downstrokes. It's impossible. Yeah, that's tremolo picking. That's
he goes, and like slate up riff, and it looks effortless, okay? Because they first of all, I've noticed what I've seen a lot on YouTube these days, or the new bands. They just play the root note or 2 strings of the bar chord together. They don't do the whole bar chord together. Now, when I played a bar chord, I played with all 6 strings, or all 4 strings initially, but all 6 strings, the same bar chord. So I don't just do the root note. But I understand it's so much easier to do it that way. But in my mind, it doesn't sound the same. It hasn't got that same fucking It just doesn't.
Yeah,
sound-
look, obviously the approach for a black metal band will be different. You know, black metal per se is tremolo picking. You will find very little black metal unless it's slow pace where you do down picking. I mean, Anthrax is down picking. You know, you know, you won't get the effect with a two-sided picking. Never. You know, same with SOG.
But there's very few musicians these days or new guitarists that they learn to do it on or up.
Yeah, they do tremolo picking, most of them. Yeah, but
it doesn't seem wrong to me.
Yeah, to me as well. I mean, I have that. Look, tremolo picking has helped me a lot. I mean, I can flex more. You know, I always found down picking is good for certain things, but I always found I couldn't get certain things done with down picking. You know, I had to learn tremolo picking, and so now I have a command of both, and I'm quite happy with that. So I'm still not that clean on tremolo, but I'm getting there. But I guess
I don't even know that it's called tremolo picking now. Well, that's
tremolo is just up down, up down, up down, up down, up down. But the thing is, where tremolo picking helps you is if you're not going to go, you know, where you and me used to play like, you know, if you do just a little lick like, and it needs to be faster, like, so that's where your up down helps you. You can just go switch strings, you know, that makes it more fluid.
Yeah.
But that's about it. But it always depends on the style of music you're doing, really.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a rule of thumb, you know. No.
I mean, I think the first time I tried to do what you called which I learned the name for, thank you, tremolo picking, is when my guitar was fucked and I was stuck on Kathy's farm or something, and my dad bought me an acoustic guitar. The first time I played acoustic guitar when I was 50 years old. And I could fly on my fucking chapel.
Yeah, but with an acoustic, you feel like a fucking. You feel like a retard.
But I persevered, and eventually, after about like 3-4 years of playing it every day, Jesus, does that fucking instrument hit your
yes. Acoustic guitars are apparently.
Christ, they are fucking hard to play.
Apparently, acoustics or steel strings are the best teachers, because when you switch to an electric, suddenly your fingers fly. It's like.
But then you overcompensate, because when Callum switched from acoustic together, he was overplaying, you know, it was holding down, bending strings out of their shape because
there's physical effort involved, and I have that often when I record bass. And I feel, oh shit, I still need to add this guitar lick. Suddenly this fucking fretboard is like, woo! It's like.
But you see, when you're talking about tremolo picking, it's like, okay, I'm going to name a really arbitrary song as anyone comes to my head, right? It's like that, not Hotel California, something about horses in America or something. It's up and down. You know the typical acoustic guitar where like you're going up and down, the strings. You know, like a straightforward, like I cannot do that. That's tremolo picking, but it's not tremolo picking. It's tremolo playing. Playing down.
That's typical guitar. But that's typical guitar strumming. It's like bang, 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 bang over all strings.
I can't do that.
That's like but that's like campfire music, you know, like dang, lang, lang.
Yes, there we go, campfire music.
Yeah, but that's just open chords. You know, you just learn your G's, and it's got nothing to do with power chords.
I'm not ashamed to say I really wanted to do campfire in my life, where I just sit around a fucking fire, like a bride, and like a beers, and you're sitting around trees, and you want to just jam acoustic, like
yeah.
But then, you know what I still do? Then I fucking got my plectrum, or if I take a fucking cut up an old credit card or whatever. I still play with a plectrum, and it's always like down strokes.
Yeah.
Or down picking, you know?
But here's an interesting story. I mean, here's an interesting story. About 8 years ago, I had to go to a clinic and stay there for a bit for recuperational reasons. And out of boredom, I signed up for the guitar class. I just said, fuck, I'm going to go insane. Otherwise, I need to do something.
With an acoustic guitar?
Huh?
With an acoustic guitar?
Yeah, obviously, you know, they're not going to go like, this is the Dave Mustaine masterclass shredding class. No, but it was like, it was like horrible, you know, like, all we are is dust in the wind, if you were lucky. And the rest was like German Schlager music. But anyway, and I was like, and at some point I thought, I don't know chords really. I don't, not open chords, you know. And then I sat there, and then the weird thing is, then the teacher got ill, and suddenly this mob that was in the class with me said like, well, then Johan needs to take over. Oh, and I was like, what? Fuck me? And man, I just sat down and but it was so fucking, I just learned a few basic chords, and they were happy. Oh, they were happy. They was like, oh, you're the teacher. I was like, no, I'll just go blanga, 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 blanga.
I've run into so many embarrassing places in my life, like, especially for my family, we go to the farm or something, and one of my niece's boyfriends, like, he plays guitar, and we're sitting around the fire, and then they say, but you this fucking guitarist played for 15 years.
Oh, I had that as well.
Oh my god. Then I'm like a fucking, what's that Japanese cup band that I hate with a passion so much, I want to fucking just kill and rape and fucking destroy them. That baby metal band.
Baby metal. Yes. Yes, I fucking hate them.
Okay, well, did I feel like baby metal, bro? When I put acoustic my hand in front of a fire with 10 people sitting there, I'm going to know.
Dude, I've been there so many times, and they all go, but you're the big guitarist, eh? Why don't you play something, eh? And I was just like, listen. No, but the last time I tuned something like that, I said like, listen, I'm not a fucking campfire kumbaya fucking player. I play with fucking musicians. So if you want to play kumbaya, then get some kumbaya player. But I must say, in my drunken stupor, I actually, just to prove a point, I got a friend of mine called Benny, and we developed a little blues schedule, and we said like, we're only going to play half an hour. And we just like these blues shuffles. We just blew, and they were like, "Fuck, that is good." I said like, and then I said at the end of that thing, I just stood up and said like, "Now if I put my mind to it, I can do this shit like on the fly. But I'm not a kumbaya player, so fuck you."
I'm on the spot twice like this. Once was here in Langebaan, but a year ago, I can't remember.
Yeah, but Greg, that's because those people don't comprehend what it means.
No,
they have no idea.
But it makes me like they were like, okay.
No, but then they're like, then they're like sort of expecting, and then why doesn't he now? I had a similar thing with Craigie. Now I know Craigie's a little. He's a bar guitarist. Now this guy can play anything. And I was at Ralph's wedding like in 2009, and suddenly there was this big thing. Oh, Johan ex-VOD is here now. Like, ooh, we need to get him on stage. And everybody was prompting me, and I was getting nervous. But at the same time, I had an arrogance about me, not because of VOD or anything. I was like, fuck you, man. I'm here to drink. So fuck you, man. And I'm here because of Ralph and his wedding, and then Craig and Ralph, get on stage. We want to play Pantera Walk, and I was like, and then somebody hands me this Fender. I mean, but the strings are like a centimeter off the fretboard. I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, no, I can't play this piece of shit. What is this? I was like, oh, come on. I took the guitar off and I threw it on the stage. I was just like, kind of, fuck off, man. And everybody looked at me like in disbelief. Like, what is he doing? He can't. He can't actually. He can't almost. But the face is red like. No, the face is red like their face is red like something like he actually can't play guitar.
Oh, fuck,
Back in a second.
Oh, fucking hell. Oh, bro, that's terrible. Oh, I've been there. Oh, God. I fucking hate when people give you, like their guitars. Remember, I used to tune my guitar, like, non-standard tuning, which I only learned, like, 2 years ago. It was called quarter tuning. So people who give me the guitar and they want me to fucking jam with them, and I'm like,
Greg. Give me 5 seconds. I need to put something in the fridge.
oh, okay.
No, Greg, I've been in that situation many times. I'll tell you a hilarious story. The problem is...
I've done a couple of them where, like...
No,
I said to
but the problem is when... The problem is when you're drunk and then your peers are there. You know, like...
Yes.
I had... There was... Stefan Stein was there. He evolved out now a shredder of note. And an accustomed pub player. Now, this guy could sit down in a pub and just play flamenco. But now, me drunk as a skunk, I would go and eventually you succumb to the pressure. Instead of just switching the venue and going home, you go, oh, okay, I guess I'll play. And then, okay, what was the backing? And then this embarrassing karaoke backtrack of Toto, Hold the Line. Da-da-da. Da, 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 da. And once again, I have this guitar in my hands, and I just go, "What is this? Are these strings like meant to be on the fretboard, or are they meant to be finger exercising thing? I don't know."
What are these strings?
Oh, it was
That's
fucking terrible.
What is it with these strings?
And I hate Fenders. I fucking hate those guitars.
Yeah.
And yes, it's good, but it was a disaster. But I was, dude, I was so drunk. I couldn't even find the chords. No.
That's good. That I can remember distinctively. Once we were like in some pub here in Langebaan, and there was some acoustic guitarist playing in. He had 2 guitars. He had a little setup. I went for a piss. The toilet's outside, and I stopped by, and there was a couple of people, like 20, 30 people watching him. And he says, but he recognizes, because he lives in Langebaan, he says, but aren't you the guitarist from VOD? So I said, yeah. He says, come play with me.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, God, I'm going, no, my friend's inside.
So can you play knocking on heaven's door, eh?
Well, that was basically it, as.
Bang, 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 bang. Oh, fuck. And
he could tune music, he could see my, he could read my mind, and I was going like, okay. So he says, okay, cool, let's just do an open E. No, you should know all these. Greg doesn't know what a fucking open E or a D or a fucking. I don't know any chords at all. I got no fucking clue what a chord. I just know I tune my bottom string to D.
Oh,
my top string some guitar.
Don't feel bad.
And I tried to like just fucking jiggle a bit. Oh my God, how terrible. I was like, no, fuck this. Well, you know. But one day I was in Nijmegen area, and there was a pub, a bush pub, and I was playing my acoustic guitar, and I sort of worked out 3, 4 songs that I sort of I used to release them on YouTube. They were actually very like sad little trinklets, you know.
Mm.
And this guitarist was playing there, and I went for a beer there, and he said, "Come, you know, I've spoken to him before. Obviously, I start speaking to every user that I can find in the pub." And he says, man, wait, you know, there's like 50, 60 people in this pub, so I actually did a song gig on acoustic. Jesus, it was fucking terrible.
Yeah, fuck, but dude, that's not the guitarists we are. We're not. we're not.
It was fucking dismal.
We're not single. But we're not single entertainers. We're not.
You know, when you spoke about playing in front of your peers, what that reminded me of is when we were on tour with Catatonia and In the Woods or whatever, and we were all just setting up sounds and stuff like that, right? And like all guitarists now, we go and fucking troll the other guitarists. You know, they're like, see what he's doing and stuff like that. And I need the sound check, and then because we were starting first, so that Catatonia did the sound check, and then it was us. And that's the only time that I was like, it was like early in the tour, where I thought, oh fuck, these guys play the instruments so fucking with ease, you know. and you know,
I don't know. I think
yeah.
I think the better
comfort song.
No, but I think the better guitarist was Bjorn from In the Woods. He was the best. He played.
But I think. So what I would always play for sound check was a comfort song. It was easy to play and it sounded heavy. Was If I Had a Soul Part 3.
Yeah.
Because it's just heavy and it's very basic to play. So that was like my sound check song. I would just sound check with that song because I didn't look like a fucking idiot trying to pull off these weird fucking crazy fast licks and heavy shit. It just sounded morbid and fucking.
It's not what it's about. It's not what it's about. It's not about who's the Flash. You know, we're not fucking Jakey Lee. You know, like, come on, man. No, but
I told you the other night, my forte was actually in front of me with a piano or a keyboard and a piano, and I would produce complete soundscape albums, like maybe one a week. With guitar, that's what I've been playing since I was fucking 19, I guess, but with 1 string, 2 strings, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. But it's not my comfort instrument. You know what I mean? It doesn't come naturally to me. With piano, it comes very naturally to me.
Look,
I've
played with a couple of very schooled musicians that can actually write down what they play and that kind of shit, and they can sweep pick and oh my god and this and that and whatever. And that's impressive. It is impressive, but I've always found that once you put them, I always turn the fact around and I say, well, let's write a little ditty. Let's write a little. You know, when they confront me and say, like, listen, let's play Guns N' Roses, I say, like, I don't care about Guns N' Roses, fuck them. Let's write a song. Let's see. You know, let's see if you have what it takes. Can you solo?
Yeah, well, that.
Can you follow me? Can you follow me on rhythm and can you solo?
Yeah.
Which is actually the duty of a lead guitarist, is following on rhythm and then breaking out. And I tell you what, most of them failed dismally because they have no rhythm skills and they have no songwriting skills. They only can fret along.
I think that has been an incredible foundation for so many years. Is the fact I remember so distinctively the first time I played with you in some practice room, and I just went whatever note I hit, 12th, 10th fret on the E or then I would play my simple stuff that I always play. You instinctively, without like fumbling about, would play like a harmony or a low down key of that thing. You know, when we were very my Dying Bride sort of era of the
Luck of the Corpse.
We fucking just I didn't have to tell you to play here. We just played always like instinctively together. You know what I'm saying? Like immediately, like immediately. I knew exactly what you were going to do next. You knew exactly what I was going to do next. Like it was just an immediate jolt.
Yeah, I remember the tapes we did. I mean, we recorded cassettes, and to my amazement, when I got my copy, I was like, "Holy shit! This is like some interesting stuff developing there." You know,
and we just fucked around. You know?
But it's not like
that's we should do. Shit. Make tapes, eh? I would make a tape, then
it's often out of carelessness, you know, and I think if you're too frustrated and too focused, then it won't work, you know. But I think a lot of that stuff came out of carelessness. We just sort of, okay, well, let's see. Well, this is not, there's no Damocles sword hanging over it. So, bang, bang, play. You know, but I tell you what, you're right. It's we have something going anyway, because a lot of stuff you send me, I don't do multiple takes. You know, I just I find I can do several bars. Obviously, now and then I pause, and then I have to do another track. But often I just feel where you're going. I feel, and then I know. Okay, just Greg. I just feel Greg's okay. Greg's going down. I'm gonna go up. See what happens, you know. And most of the time, 80% of the time, it's a dead ringer. It's there.
But there comes like I mean, this is like a private subject, I guess, in the way in that I always felt the other way around too. So when you send me stuff, right, and I can immediately hear what you're doing with it. But I struggle. Like, I cannot play any cover songs. I've never been able to learn a cover song. Maybe one punk song, and I could do Breaking the Law to an extent. That's about it, okay?
Yeah, but I don't...
I have always struggled intensely. Even I know your style, I know where you're going to go, and I know we've got that connection, but the moment somebody sends me something, I will never be able to make a session musician or guitarist.
No, but why?
Take a song and add to it. It's very difficult.
Why bother? You know? To me, it's not important. Why cover stuff? And you know, it's been done. You know, it's obviously.
I'm talking about with another guitarist.
Yeah, but obviously, if you're Craigie or someone that earns their money with that shit, it's important. You know, you need to play the stuff good, and obviously he has to reach out way beyond metal, and he has to play what people want to hear. And that's his living, you know. And but I'm not going to compare myself to that. That's not who I am.
Do you think you can do a Steam Train Running, or what is it from? What's that fucking band? That's one of the most complex fucking guitar songs to play. What's it? Not Uri, but the fuck, what are they called? Steam Train Running, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I'm diverting.
What, Megadeth?
Yeah, I struggle to play with another guy. I can play with a drummer. For me, it always starts with the drums. I have to hear drum beats. If I can't play within the first two bars, something out of my head on that drum beat, then I change the beat, get another drum beat, because it either works immediately or it doesn't. It doesn't. It just, yeah. But when you send me stuff, you send me some really lacquer fucking stuff, and I know in my head what I should add to it, but when I get on the guitar, it just doesn't come out. It's like, you know, it's, I'm not a fucking dictator.
That's what I've been wondering about, is like, often I've hoped that you would sort of, even, I think I've sent you rhythm with no lead work or anything, where I've hoped you would sort of bring this ethereal, you know, like single note, just what I always expect of you. I always think, well, expect is a very demanding word, but I mean, like,
yeah, I know where you're coming from.
But you know what? I think where I left you space, but yeah, if you're not comfortable, then yeah, it's. But
yeah,
yes,
I'm
man.
sure with that. I mean,
but on the other hand, you've written all this
Yeah.
material, and I can also understand that you just sort of, you've got, you know, you're in a creative drive somewhere, and yeah, I think I'm more of a, without that sounding derogatory or anything, I think I can jump quite easily from.
Yeah, you do.
Now,
You're way more better than
you know, if somebody was to say now, I actually, funnily enough, I got this request. Somebody sent me to my Soul Vertigo, and he said, like, can you, if we're doing this project, could you a guest on it, and I said, well, fuck yeah, fucking no problem, man. And yeah, but I can also understand you in your groove with Chrome Master, and I can understand if you don't, you know what I mean.
No, I think you're right about that, Johan. It's like I struggle to even explain to my family and my closest ones actually what happens within me when I get in that space. I'm not a nice person. It's like a demon that, like I go to sleep listening to it. I wake up, I dream about it. I wake up to it, and I end up being 2 weeks later very fucking exhausted because now it's finally done and I can move on. That's why I even said on the last one we did. Because, and I'm being genuine when I say that, it takes, I'm in such a single fucking focused mind. And if anybody tries to change the song dramatically, like in D&D, I used to have big fights with the band, that sort of shit, I guess. Because I didn't want to change this. Because it was in my head and it's something that was in me, and I wanted to portray it like that. No matter how boring or dark it is relevant. It's a mood that I need to get out of my system, and although I haven't laid down the notes yet, it's already so in my soul, in my head, in my body, and everything, and I don't even go and variate from that. You know, it's taxing, bro. It like, and it also it stops change, which is, you know. But the next song I do will be something completely fucking different again. But it doesn't matter. But at that time, I mean, even if you come and you really radically can change it, I normally have to make an effort to overcome that, because I was like, cool, you know, because I've got this mood in my soul that needs, and I want it to be just that. It mustn't be pretty. It mustn't be great. It must be this fucking mood that leaves you want to slit your wrist afterwards or kill somebody afterwards. Yeah, it's fucking selfish. Recognize.
But another thing is also a thing. I'm not going to go and write a lot of rhythm tracks and stuff, because I can already see a conflicting sound. Because I've got different amp settings. You know, I would ideally, you know, if ever I was to send you a riff, you would have to sort of replicate that in your sound just to get continuancy anyway. But so that's why that's why I'm mainly stuck to Cavalier. You know, just to
Cavalier is a mystical creature.
Yeah, but I enjoy that. It is. I tell you what, my command over the high strings on the guitar has changed so much over the last 6 months. I'm finding chords where, you know, now I finally know how some bands play. I can't name them. I don't know. Is it a G or what? I don't care. I just hear it.
I think definitely an example of that.
I just hear
it. When that guitarist picks or the other guitarist picks underneath what. You can't really make it's playing, but it's sort of just a twinkling of a mood, like just.
But
notes,
one thing's for sure, that most of the Gothic guitarists don't play on the deeper strings; they play high up.
No,
and it's either a picking or it's a strumming or it's. And
that's exactly.
And a lot of them actually play 12 strings, huh? That's how on the Mission you hear it's a 12-string guitar. Wayne Hussey, it's you just hear that.
And that's exactly why the most prominent thing you always hear, and what most people enjoy, or especially chicks enjoy about Gothic music, is that the bass line always stands out. Now, the reason the bass line stands out is not because it's mixed super loud. It's because, like you've just mentioned, there's a lack of bottom ends on the guitar. It's all high string stuff. So it leaves that space for the bass line to drive.
It's probably the easiest music to mix. It's not like metal, you know, and...
Yeah. Fucking nightmare.
Which is, I think, most of thrash metal. A lot of the bass just disappeared. I mean, look at those early thrash metal. I think on Heathen, you don't hear a bass. You don't. Listen to that Heathen album. There's no bass.
Look, I can't see. I only heard the guitars. Okay, the only thrash metal band I can think of hearing the bass.
Anthrax.
Okay, they're not all thrash. Iron Maiden, maybe Anthrax. Iron Maiden, the bass drives. Obviously, Cliff Burton drove the bass, but he relied on solos and little nuances in between songs, mostly for that. Where he was given the space to create like little pieces. But generally speaking, I mean, Gothic music and even punk, the bass is very prominent. That's it's almost like a thumbprint design of early punk and of Gothic music. Is the bass line is what drives it. Reggae, classic example. Imagine reggae without the bass. I mean, God.
No, unimaginable.
I mean, drinking this insurmountable amount of beer every night, so understandable.
But now we're talking about all these. You know, it's always relative. Tommy Victor, Geordie from Killing Joke. We're talking about all these. Everybody's supposed to be like a good fucking, like a guru guitarist. But I mean, who can copy someone like Geordie? I dare any guitar player to play like Geordie from Killing Joke. Fuck that, man. Nobody can touch that.
And I'm arrogant enough to say that when I used to be a really shitty guitarist playing on 3-4 strings, when I could get out of 2-3 strings on the stage, and I'd be playing with some bands like Raven Wolf, who were all wizards on their guitars and fucking bands in Joburg. And I would go there with my little fucking quarter tuning, everything tuned, standard quarter tuning, 4 strings. And I'm sorry, my rhythm work left them behind, bro. And when I played a chord, it was fucking heavy. And no amount of fucking fancy picking, it's your own tone. That cup word tone that people use. Like Joey's got that fucking thing. Like you immediately knows him. It's like, you know.
But what the thing is, I can't say enough about Jody, and unfortunately now I don't want to sound like someone that's like been into Killing Joke since they started. I'm a latecomer, but that band blew me away. It's because, but it took me time to realize that. I mean, I had my Anthrax stage, my crunchy guitars, and everything has to be like, and then I had my Malevolent Creation. Everything has to be death metal, and then I started branching out, and then I can appreciate someone like Martin Gore from Depeche Mode, just that, just the simplicity. But then I discovered Killing Joke, and it's like, my God, this guy discovers chords that sound so discordant, and it makes Jazz Coleman sound like he's singing out of hell. It's so bizarre. It's
I'll even extend to some of the black metal bands I've heard. They play, maybe by mistake or maybe through design, some chords that's like, for normal guitarists who's like study guitarists or death metal, fucking brilliant guitarists, they'll go, what the fuck is that? But because they're not listening. They just say, well, that's not a perfect fucking C minor or a fucking D major or whatever.
It's not about that.
It's not about. It's about, even if you hit the wrong notes, if those notes, they create a mood and a frequency that leave your mistakes in the shit, because that's what creates the fucking that ambience of that fucking song. It's like this is, when I was mixing down this fucking track to send to Philip today, I had to listen to every track, your stuff, my vocals, your vocals, the drums, my acoustic guitar, your acoustic guitar, my fucking tracks. And if you listen to me in on their own, I mean, it's fucking, it's like, God. It's like, but when you add it all together, if you listen to it on its own, it's like, oh my Jesus Christ, listen to that. Like fucking weird sounds coming out there. It's like, just cut that out. Yeah. Most bands will go and cut out those fucking weird. I leave them in because that creates the ambience of that.
Oh, like, they would go like, oh, let's put a click track on that.
Yeah. But if you make little, you hit slightly, you're playing a downstroke with your, say, on the 12th, and you suddenly, by mistake, hit the open E on the end. No, that's not part of this. You just on one part of the riff, you do that. Now people will go, oh, that was wrong. Let's do it again. Or I leave that in because that is what creates the life of the reality of that track. It's not a fucking AI fucking song. It created a nuance that I hate push back to fucking the idea on this, but the needle dive. There's a thing that I used to do needle dive. That was so to me is I could play. I can't remember. I'll send it to you later. But little 3 notes I hit that only I knew that I hit those notes. Now, if you did a cover of that song, you wouldn't even pick it up. And only and I had this conversation with Franz once, and he says one day it just became clear to him. For me now, if you leave that out of that song, that song doesn't sound the same. It's 3 minuscule high notes that's part of one of the riffs. It's like ding, ding, ding. Like without it doesn't. But normal guitarists would not put it in. They would put it down as a mistake, retake. But it became, for me, if I don't hear that, then I know the guy's doing a cover of that song. He's not playing it right. Also, when I showed him what I was talking about, once you hear it, then you repeat of that song slightly different. And it's a little nuanced shit. Tony Iommi is the king of fucking nuances in this.
Oh,
everything doesn't have.
Tony Iommi, I don't know how he does it. He has that guitar sound.
Because he plays. Let's be brutal here. He doesn't play for clinical machinery style. He plays with slop. He bends it slightly different. This song, that song. If he makes a slight little nuance mistake in the guitar, picks some harmonic by mistake, whatever, he leaves it in because that's what creates that tone, that fucking sound, which is what all the metal bands, in my mind, today all lack. That's why I started getting fucked up with the metal scene. Pretty much, it all became gen style, machinery, fucking.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's like machines. No,
it's like a machine. There's no life. There's no mistakes.
I agree with you 100%. There's no life. It's all the same shit.
Clinical.
But dude, that'll die. That'll die. Everything comes in cycles. It'll die.
That's why I dig 70s music, Johan, which I'm not a 70s. I grew up, I was born in the 60s, but I mean, I didn't listen to 70s music. I like the soft playing of 70s, cymbals spilling over. Yeah. And the drums, the toms are high. I like that. It's life. It feels alive. Yeah.
You're right. I can't say anything against that.
No. I sent you that song the other night of that. What's that band? Something Witches, Better Than Witches, or All Them Witches, that one song. It's like, it's 3 guys jamming, but it's so fucking doom, incredible. I mean, there's no perfection in it. None of the notes are always perfectly on time. It doesn't matter. It's just this fucking vibe. It creates a vibe of fucking awesomeness, which doesn't work in metal, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, I guess metal has its sort of boundaries, and
yeah, but it's not metalheads. It's what the bands have done to metal.
But then again, there's a lot of metal bands out there that do it differently. I mean, listen to who I just interviewed, Dan Lorenzo, and it's not going to be released now. It's going to be released in a couple of weeks, because he wants it at some certain time. But it's very doom, and it's not precision. It's just feel. Yeah? You should listen to that album. Actually, I sent you a link. Visioning.
Yes, you did.
It's not like my major sort of playing field. But I appreciate what he's doing. He wants organic. He wants it warm. He wants it, and that's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, but in sincerity, I've listened to some of your riffing lately and stuff that you've done. You still got that absolute, I guess it's from your German roots, that technical capability to be so precise. Now, I speak very precise in rhythm work, but yeah, it's not. I don't do that anymore. I can't. It doesn't come natural to me anymore. For me, it's all about just like metalish or punk style of.
Yeah, but that makes us different people.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I like my stuff fairly tight and whatever. But I also appreciate music where it's rough and loose. You know.
I mean, if you think, let's just talk about, say, for a split second of Pink Floyd, dude. So, I mean, he's a fucking phenomenal guitarist, without a mistake. Great songwriter, Gilmore, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, yeah, his leads, he plays it almost exactly the same every platform, which I appreciate, because that's what I want to hear from the guitar. When you play a lead,
Gilmore is God.
You know?
He is...
But I mean, he's not a impeccable timing type of guy in a way that, from a rhythm point of view, like it's open. But when he plays his lead, he plays that spot on, fucking, almost fucking everything. There's nothing fucking worse than a lead guitarist or a vocalist who, it's like when Slayer, when they did that Rain in Blood, or not Rain in Blood, that fucking scream in the beginning, and then you see them doing it live, and he doesn't, because that's what you want to hear. I want to hear that scream exactly like that, bro. And same with the lead guitar. If I Kerry King's lead breaks, it's just fucking noise in my mind. But if somebody does like a fucking lead like in Pink Floyd or something, I mean, I'm waiting for that. It's precise ringing of that note like he always does. You know, then you're going to be precise. You have to play it exactly the same.
No, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right, yeah.
All right, my bro. So, where do you next? I'm supposed to be interviewing you, but on that day. So, after the next one, you ain't going to do any talking. I'm going to ask you questions.
Yes, please. Hit me.
About where you grew up, what was your favorite food, what's the favorite books you read, who beat you up at school. I'm going to ask you all about your private life, which girls fucked you over, and when you first had sex, and all that shit. Yeah? Yeah. All the personal things.
We can hear that, for sure. Let's do that.
We're going to record that one.
Well, I've recorded this one, so...
Well, we didn't speak any shit about anybody, so...
No, this is pretty clean.
There shouldn't be anything, you can just, whatever you want to do with it.
No, this is pretty clean. We talked about artworks a lot, and just guitar styles.
Music.
I think it's legit, you know.
Too legit to quit.
Too legit to quit. No,
have you ever heard that?
No.
My kids will send me this fucking song.
No. But anywho, Meister.
All right, my brother.
We are individuals, and we create our own styles.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
And anyone else can fuck
out.
Fuck right off.
Tomorrow I've got to work, so I'm not going to spend any time on music and stuff like that. I won't be able to.
No, I'm also going to just bail out tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm just going to... Dude, it's you guys might be freezing. We are sweating our asses off here. I don't expect any sympathy.
Enjoy it when you can.
No, I don't expect any sympathy. No, it's unbearable. the humidity. It's just
Really?
Jenny and me are just
Oh,
like no. Jenny and me the entire day. I'm lying on the bed with a fan on, and she's lying on the sofa with a fan on, and we're both just doing AI and just we're just sort of like hanging on.
What, 28, 30 degrees? What?
We've got about 30, but with the humidity, it's like you've got it's like you've got the second moist skin. I could actually step into the shower every half an hour. Now it's we have an humidity here that's almost like in the city bowl, like that kind of
Yeah.
There's no wind. It's just
I don't do humidity. I love heat, bro, but
no, but
humidity. But I get
but you know what I appreciate is wind, just a bit of air.
Yeah.
But it's dead. If I went outside earlier today, it's just dead. It's dead. It's like this is how.
Are you in the middle of summer now? Or was it towards the end? Or was it like?
I don't give a fuck.
Unusual.
I don't give a fuck. No, it's always humid here during the warm months. Germany it's always humid. No, I don't care much for it. I don't. You very seldom.
You don't want the fucking grey. You don't want a grey fucking wind and sleet and all that.
Look, I don't like the grey and the wet and the shit. I don't like that. But when it gets warm here, it's cuck either way because you never just get warm.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'm used to Namibia where it's dry and you have pleasant warm days, and obviously you also get blasting heat. And but it's never with that humidity factor, and I'm used to that dry heat. But I can't handle this humidity. It's just, I mean, dude,
that's what
Greg, I literally leave the shower, and I feel fresh for 5 seconds. Then when I wander into the rest of our house, and immediately I could see this sheath of sweat on my skin.
Yeah.
Which I just thought I washed off. It's just, no, fuck. And our animals are reacting as well. I could see it. Our dog is in another world anyway because she's incontinent and she's just... I think it's a downward spiral as far as she's concerned. But our cats also, you can see that they're just sitting in this one spot, and the cats are... Watch the cats. They're always in the coolest place of the house. They lie down there, and that's where they sit. And but I can even check even the cat that is most connective to me, which is Malou, the black cat. She's always like, usually she's all over me, and always following me. She just looks at me like this really resigned look, like, dude, fuck off.
Seriously,
dude. Dude, fuck off.
Yeah, we get like heavy rain last night again, but we're sort of the end of it now. We haven't had the heat on now for a week because I think it's cold. Like, I mean, you wear a jacket all day, but it's not that fucking bitterly cold. So we're sort of coming out of it, and the flowers are at the back. So, now we're going to have those windy fucking few months.
No, we got snow coming throughout the country now.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. The Doom Germans are going to predict snow on us. But it's not as bad as it was. But I can't live anywhere else, bro. I'm used to the Western Cape sort of weather. It's it's a lot of wind. I can tolerate the wind because when it's like you speak now, I know what you're talking about. There's nothing fucking worse when there's no wind.
No, it's dude, it's dead. I can walk outside. It's just dead. Not a leaf moves. It's just like this. I always say to Janine, it's like it's how I envision the air inside of a cow's stomach. It must be. It's like it's like this fermenting monsoon. I don't know what it is. It's fuck. I drive. I shower. I get into the car and I go get some stuff from the market and I come back. I'm wet. Yeah. I can go back in the shower.
I find that if I go to Joburg, I find that because they've got obviously the heat too, but it's like what you're describing. It's exhausting heat. It's like this.
No,
I struggle to breathe in places like that because of the amount of water in the air, of the humidity.
Yeah.
It's almost like I can't breathe. You know, it's I find it's fucking.
It's probably
exhausting.
It's probably high oxygen levels and I don't know, or very little oxygen levels because of the height. Yeah. Joburg.
Also, they got that.
I think Joburg is very much like Windhoek. It's very low oxygen levels, but the difference is Windhoek you don't have that humidity.
Yeah. Well, the place I remembered I will never go back to it is even when I was young and fit, like fun days, when I went to Durban.
Oh.
What you just said to me now, that brought back those memories where you feel like you're slimy all the time. Okay?
Yes.
Like your clothes, sweat is just running off you all the time. Everything feels dirty and fucking
and slimy
sweaty.
and horrible. No, I think Durban is a good comparison to here. The entire Germany, it's very humid, dude. It's fucking humid. But most of the Germans I know here, they walk around, and then sometimes I leave the house and I look at these people and they're wearing these weird what are they called in English? No. They're wearing jackets sometimes. I'm not going to go into the jacket type. It's a certain jacket type. It has this like really almost like compartmentalized. What are they called?
Yes.
Whatever.
Okay.
But then I go outside and I go, jeez, I'm wearing shorts and a shirt. The other day I went across the road because we got a burger joint. I just went to get food for us, and I was just wearing shorts, pluckies, and a deer-side t-shirt. And they all looked at me like, aren't you freezing?
Schatzi, willst du das morgen machen mit Heiko?
Was denn?
Mit dieser CD.
Ja.
Nein, sie muss sie bringen. Ich muss das erstmal gucken, wie das funktioniert.
Ja, soll sie es morgen?
Ja, soll sie bringen und dann gucke ich mal in
Die
Ruhe,
hat
wie
die
das...
hier. Das wollte ich doch nur wissen.
Ja, soll sie hier lassen? Ich guck mal, ob das geht. No, but anyway, they looked at me all funny and, aren't you free? Oh, God, Jesus. But anyway.
Yeah, I think that's the reason I came, when I moved back to London, one was exactly for that. When we were living in PE, we had the same level of wind, sometimes more there, but also quite humid. And what I remember about the West Coast is that incredible dry heat, which I like. It works best for my lungs and everything. And you know what? It never gets that fucking hot because when the wind starts blowing, like yourself.
Dry dry is better.
Yeah, and then when the wind comes up in the afternoon, then you get like nice and cool. You got always wind.
That's the thing is, Windhoek. That's what I loved about Windhoek. It gets fucking hot, but it's dry.
Yeah.
But and hence you don't have this invisible cloak where your body feels like it's in this gelid form. I can't explain it. It's just and here in Germany it's just wet. You're constantly wet. And
but is this year or is it been like
no? It's always Germany. I always felt like this is what it must feel like to be in a cow's ass. It's oh God, it's just horrible. I feel like I could shower 4 times a day, easily.
And you're going to tell me you're going to prefer when it's fucking sludge, black snow outside?
No, I don't. I obviously love it.
Let me tell you one thing. This has been a long winter here, and I normally don't mind the winters. It's a nice break after all that heat in summer.
Yeah.
And normally I go through winters pretty well, but this winter for some reason just feels so long. It's like I am so fucking tired of wearing socks all the time and jackets. I mean, I've got a lot of fucking Indian shit I used to wear around monitors all the time. I don't even, they archived because it's just fucking cold all the fucking time.
Yeah.
I mean,
look, don't get me wrong. I think for me it's not so much the temperature or anything. I love blue skies. whether it's cold
Yeah.
or hot, I can appreciate freezing cold, but as long as it's a blue sky, it's my eyes. It's a blue skies.
I know exactly.
I'm used to
I felt that in London.
because
I felt that in London.
because in Namibia,
Yeah.
it's like 300.
And Johan, when
I just want, if it's cold or not,
yeah.
I want blue skies.
I don't know if you were talking at the time when Natalie and I lived for quite a few years in this house that was built at treetop level in a forest outside Port Elizabeth. I mean, you could literally, like I always said, you can walk around that house and the property, which is just bush, for 2 years, totally naked, and nobody would see you. It was so remote in that way, but yet it was so close to town. But it was, the entire house was surrounded, all around, by this thick fucking tropical forest. Okay? I mean, we had fucking monkeys and weird birds coming through there, the jungle vines. I mean, we would spend most of our time hacking away jungle vines to clear space. And the house was sitting at the treetops. And it was the most beautiful house we've ever lived in and anything, but it became very, very depressing because when it rains, all those trees droop and they're all hanging. And my biggest complaint was like, I could never cast my eye and see the horizon or see the sky or see the sunset or clear skies. It was just camped in fucking feeling.
Yeah. No, I can hear you.
And it actually, I mean, I said I'd love to do some most of that. It became depressing because, and what I love about the West Coast is, Clark was in the West Coast too. You can see for kilometers, as far as your eye can see, you can see 100 kilometers. You can cast your eye, you can see the sky above you, like you said, whether it's grey or clouds or whatever, but you can at least see the fucking sky.
Yeah.
That's one thing about Africa that nobody will, unless they've lived in Europe proper and not just visited. If you've lived there long enough, that's one of the things that started killing me now, and London, those places. You never really see the fucking big sky.
Yeah, exactly.
And it makes you claustrophobic.
Greg, I'm going to send you a link before I sign off. And I want you, I'm asking you.
Well, I'll click on the link when you sign off.
No, you listen to that in peace. Not now.
I'm going to.
Because I'm going to. I'm going to sign off now. You will need time to listen to it. But listen to this album.
Oh.
Devin Townsend, Ocean Machine. Because you.
Oh, okay.
No, because you are. I have a feeling this might strike a chord with you. And what he does is just like.
I know who he is.
He's a phenomenal guitarist, but he doesn't let this ruin this album. He just does a mood. It's just mood.
Yeah.
And I hope you will like it.
I'll give you my verdict.
Yes, have a listen.
I know him. I know some of his songs, but I'm thinking of Dane Townsend. That's what I'm thinking.
No. Take your time with it. Have a listen. I think it's a great album. I've spun that album from top to finish numerous times. Great.
Okay, cool, my brother. You have je moet kerk toe gaan môre, né? Dis vir liewe Jesus.
Ja, ek sal.
Jy moet die kerk toe vat. Jy moet vir mamma sê, sy moet 'n doekie op haar kop dra. Dan moet julle almal gaan yskriem eet na die kerk.
Ja, jy weet jy's nou op rekord, né? My diktafoon loop nog, né? Nou is jy gefok. Anyways, Boetie,
love you lot.
jy moet
We speak soon.
en om te hoor jy moet saggies straf want die lewe is soos 'n wit blad papier en elke merk wys.
Ja. Ja. Ons gaan nog 'n video doen, ons gaan al die beste Afrikaanse kakwoorde gebruik.
Yeah, but that's what somebody wrote in my mom's little diary. It's like,
Really?
Sag hy strap, want die lewe is soos 'n wit papier en elke merk wys. Well, yeah, that's quite deep.
Why would somebody run at your mother's fucking...
Yeah,
Like,
it's quite amazing, eh?
Everything you do is recorded.
Heavy shit, man. Anyway.
You must have been one of the earliest fucking satanic church people in that fucking place.
Like a sect. Scientology. Anyway.
Oh, fuck. Oh, okay.
That's another topic for next time.
Yeah, we're not going to fucking go to Scientology, so I don't speak about religion.
Yeah, fuck that shit. This is...
Unless you believe in the Church of Crowmaster, then...
The Church of Crowmaster, exactly. This is the second... this concludes the second Kakpraat talk of Greg and Johan. See you next time.
Yes.
Cheers, motherfuckers.
Ons het baie lekker kak gepraat. My black labels is amper klaar, so ja, let's it. Cool.
And keep your eyes peeled. There's a Crowmaster. There's a dark Crowmaster thing happening. I don't know.
Yeah. Better go out in the yard and gather some stones.
Yes, gather some stones, get dark, and get fucked up. Anyway, motherfuckers.
Lots of love.
It's time we all go to bed, and you too. And hands above the blankets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good one. Cheers, man.